Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there.
So, guys, yesterday I was meditating on the Sri Yantra after doing some mantras, and actually during doing some mantras. And there were so many things that came through to me. This is an amazing symbol. And if you just watch it, look into it, it is symbolic of the matrix that we live in.
Very symbolic, and you can see many different things. I think it's kind of dependent on the different wave state your brain is in, maybe what you can pick out, perhaps.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating to look at this and just let yourself be pulled into it. There's so much in there. There's so much in there, and you see at the very center there's a dot.
And I'm curious about that dot.
Well, that dot is known as a bindu, and bindu, for those of you that don't know, is also the mark that's put right on the third eye in Hinduism. And it's there for more than one reason, too, and its symbology is very deep. So a bindu is a Sanskrit term directly translated to point or dot. Bindu has a rich variety of meaning depending on the context, but it's primarily regarded in Indian traditions and philosophies as the point from which all creation begins and is ultimately unified.
And that's really beautiful, and I don't think a lot of people understand the bindu.
No, I think there's so much misunderstanding. And in tantric philosophy, bindu is understood as an expression of the highest consciousness, symbolic of both Shiva and Shakti. And again, the Shiva and Shakti again references the same concept as the Tao, the yin and the yang.
Very interesting.
The source of all creation and divine feminine energy, respectively, the bindu may also refer to the silent point that is the source of all sacred sound. So in some ways we could look at it as being a reference to the Om.
Very, very interesting stuff here.
Now, the feminine version of the word is bindi, denoting a small ornamental dot affixed to the forehead as a devotional ritual in Hinduism. The bindi dot is considered to represent bindu, the point of universal consciousness from which the universe originates. Most yantras and mandalas, ritual designs, often circular and geometric, have the bindu at the center. So again, this is representing the source of everything.
And these people, they have this. Is this like a daily practice they do, or that's neat? I like that.
Yeah, it's just part of the routine. Now, what hit me was, as I'm just staring and meditating on it, I see the all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid.
Right.
And there you go. So we could look at things in a lot of ways. And honestly, it's always hit me that I feel that the powers that be are happy when somebody thinks that it's the eye of Satan, the eye of Lucifer, even the eye of the Illuminati watching all we do. Because, again, there's so many different layers to these mysteries.
Well, there is. And unless you take the time to look into it, you usually just have one perspective about it.
Exactly. But it's more than that. And so, again, those in power, those in control, have sought to keep their power and control through ignorance of the masses, keeping us, out of the know, not really knowing what all this is really about, allowing us to go off in tangents and to, go down different dead-end roads that don't really give us the whole clue.
Well, they're very, very good at misdirection, yes.
Oh, yes. Misdirection and indirection. That is the name of the game. Always get you, chasing off into some dead end, somewhere that's going to lead you to nowhere, basically. And meanwhile, they understand how the universe works. They understand all the mysteries and secrets. And, that's why in some religious traditions, developing your intuitive abilities is totally frowned upon.
It is. And, that gives up a whole lot of secrets, and that would give up their power over you.
Exactly. So, yeah, I could see the all-seeing eye in it. I could also see many more things. Just just going deeper and deeper, I see the Star of David. I see the Merkaba. I see the guild sign of the Masons. I mean, that's what all this is about. Ultimately, it's all about how this matrix works, the programming of the matrix, and then understanding all that, how we can manipulate it as they constantly manipulate it.
They do it, and they do it very well.
So we see all these different things. They're all over. Everything is hidden in plain sight. It's right out there. The eye, you see the Masonic. Even in Christianity, in some sects, there are references to that as well. And then the Eye of Horus. It's all interconnected. This is all about consciousness. This is a story of consciousness.
And they have no problems holding all the cards and letting everyone else guess.
In the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and other secret societies, all this is well known. And we see pillars, 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 pillars. You know, there's so many things here going on. The pillars, we could also see them in the Tree of Life, in the Kabbalah. And Joaquin and Boaz, which are mercy and severity. And so there's the middle path. And Buddha is somebody that was born, for instance, a prince, going to be the king. You could say he was living the life of mercy. And then he exposed himself to life as a yogi, as an ascetic, out there in just the wilderness, naked, and just subsiding off of whatever people would give him, and just being present and meditating with whatever weather was coming, just really punishing the body, going to the other extreme. These are the extremes. And then he found the middle path between the extremes.
That's very important, to find that middle path for all of us in every situation.
Yes, as we tend to go to extremes. And so recognizing the symbologies that are always out there in front of our eyes. And, it's interesting to see it, the Twin Towers too. There was references to the Twin Towers and the Titans. And of course, the Titans were felled by the elder gods. And it's all fascinating because we could also reference Joaquin and Boaz, again, the left and the right path. And we could also look at it in a microcosmic way in the body as the Ida and the Pingala. And then the middle path, which is the key path, the Sushumna, which when the Ida and the Pingala, the masculine and the feminine energies are balanced and they go through each of the chakras in sequence, opening them up, allowing the flow of the Kundalini up the Sushumna, which goes straight up the middle path. That's the key. Comes up to the third eye area and activates the pineal gland. And then we start to develop our wings, our Merkaba, as we see the wings over here. This is what the wing symbolism is. In Hindu philosophy, again, a human is not just limited to being a human. A human can go ahead and become an angelic being, a Devic being, an ascended master.
Yes, they can. And again, these are more things that they keep from us, and they try to put us in a box and tell us what to believe.
The thing about the 3D reality that we find ourselves in these bodies, these meat suits, is that they do offer us the opportunity to go to all new levels. It's different on the different densities and the different dimensions. And so we have tremendous opportunity here to really progress. So what really are we looking at when we see these symbols? Is it just simply that these guys were up there in UFOs and flying saucers? Or is it a reference to that the Anunnaki gods were those that had their wings already?
I'm pretty sure they had their wings.
Yeah, they could manipulate their reality. They knew how to manipulate their reality. They had Merkabas. They were advanced in this esoteric knowledge, and they had their wings. And we do see that as well. We see Isis with wings often. And this is in the Egyptian tradition, as you see the scarab with the wings. And again, this is from the Rosicrucians, showing the Christian cross with the Egyptian wings. Interesting, isn't it not?
It's all over the place.
It's all a story of consciousness. All of it. It's not about worshiping the devil. It's not about Satan. anything like that. No, this is about you and your journey on consciousness, in consciousness, and understanding exactly what you are. And it's just in every single tradition, if you just look.
And be open to it too. That's the key.
Well, some will be conditioned by fear, and their fear will keep them from looking and keep them from understanding. So, we see Shiva over there, we see Baphomet, and Baphomet, you could easily see with his pose that it's really symbolic of the same thing that we see when we look at the Masonic symbol as well. And people are terrified of the pentagram. The point up, it simply means the 4 elements underneath ether or Akash or the Holy Spirit, the life force.
Well, but they throw things out for us immediately. As soon as we see something like that, we immediately think it's evil.
Well, you flip it upside down, then you're talking about the left-handed path where you're putting the material above the spiritual.
And that's okay.
Well, it's okay for those that want to do that, that's for sure. Because, the path back to source is one in which we recognize what's inside us. We recognize our potential. We recognize what we can be. And when we look at, again, the Pope, they have all the symbolism again. All this symbolism goes on down throughout time. Boy, that's an evil-looking face, isn't it?
Oh, gosh,
yeah. He's got that's John Paul II, too, having a very stern-looking face there, almost like he's going to battle and about to swing an axe or something. But the reference to the pine cone, which is, again, a reference to the pineal gland, and it's important. It is so important. It's the key to ascension. It's the key. And that is why they put fluoride in the water.
That's exactly why, and it's so sad.
It is. So this is all about our journey in consciousness. And we are breaking free now because we are getting blasted by those cosmic rays and the energies. And so they know our freedom is at hand, and that's why we see everything that we see going on in this world.
We do, and we have so many cosmic energies, cosmic rays coming in. That's part of the reason why we're waking up, and you notice how they keep us afraid of the sun too.
Yeah, because the sun is a relay. Yes. You could look at it as it's a neuron, a single neuron that's relaying information out there in the universal mind of God.
Well, it's plasma, and we are a very dense form of plasma. So for us, the sun is extremely life-giving.
And so we've covered this before as we've talked about things in other videos. I wanted to just focus on this one aspect, especially for all the new people coming in, because this is what it's all about. This is why we have the political chaos that we have. This is why we have lockdown. This is why we have the division. This is the why behind everything, because we're waking up, and the powers that be can't have that.
And they want to keep you locked into a certain frame of mind.
So guys, thank you so much for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Make sure you are subscribed to both channels, as each will have unique content. Much love to everybody out there, and much peace. God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.